The WNBA has opened an investigation surrounding sounds heard as Angel Reese was throwing her free throw from the technical foul received in the Indiana-Chicago game yesterday.
The WNBA just dropped a bombshell statement about the Indiana Fever game, and honestly, it might be the most embarrassing move from a professional sports league I've ever seen. They're investigating allegations at Gainbridge Fieldhouse that nobody can verify actually happened. Meanwhile, real hate gets ignored? Oh, we're going deep on this massive controversy today.
Now, the allegations have since been proven untrue, okay? And the WNBA is in a very, very concerning place.
So here's what went down. The WNBA just released an official statement saying they're investigating allegations of hateful conduct during the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game. But get this. These allegations seem to be based on nothing but Twitter rage and speculation. Let me read you their exact words. The WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. They have no place in our league or society. We are aware of allegations and are looking into the matter.
I think folks that truly love the game of basketball need to be mindful. You need to respect the humanity of these women, whether you are Team Clark or Team Reese, although you can certainly be both, right? The aftermath, the fact that the WNBA has to put out a statement because of racist comments and unsafe conditions toward Angel Reese. Like, I just want people to be mindful that whether you like it or not, anytime something happens with the two of them, one is automatically put as a victim and one is automatically put as someone who needs to be saved, when in reality, both are excellent competitors. They both said this was a basketball play. Now, Greeny, let's be honest. If this was the other way around, oh, Lord, you can only imagine how the conversation would have gone.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Now, normally I'd applaud a league for taking a stand against hate. That's absolutely the right move, if there was actually clear evidence of hate occurring, but that's where this whole situation gets completely ridiculous. Let's break down what actually happened. During the game, Angel Reese was at the free throw line after Caitlin Clark was called for a flagrant foul, which, by the way, many basketball experts have already said was a terrible call. Just a standard take foul that happens dozens of times in every basketball game. But I digress.
All right, so can't believe I'm making this video. I was at Caitlin Clark's opener, triple-double, won a shit ton of money. All great day. Today, I see online, starting last night, just salty trolls, and I don't even know, actually, that they're Chicago Sky fans. I think they're just trolls. They're just people who hate Caitlin Clark. They're trolls, and they're like, of course, the Indiana Fever are making, like, monkey sounds and other racist sounds at Angel Reese, which is total garbage, totally made up.
When Reese missed her free throw, there was a noise from the crowd. Some people online have claimed this was a racial sound, but literally everyone who was actually in the arena has denied hearing anything remotely racial. Arena attendees have explained it was either the standard arena sound effect that plays during opponent free throws, fans doing the classic "ball don't lie" chant, or simply regular crowd noise that happens in every basketball game.
And gets called for a flagrant one foul. Reese said after the game about the play that she can't control the refs and that, quote, I guess some people got a special whistle. We'll hear Caitlin's response in a bit, but we play on. Indiana up 3 with less than 40 to go. Who else deserves the ball?
The craziest part? The WNBA launched this investigation based on accusations spread primarily through social media by people who weren't even at the game. They took Twitter evidence as reliable enough to put out an official statement that essentially throws their own fans, including thousands of young girls and families, under the bus as potential racists. Let's be absolutely clear about something. If any fan actually made racist comments or noises, they should be identified and banned for life. That has no place in basketball or society. But there is simply zero verified evidence that actually happened, Scott Agnes, who covers the Indiana Fever, wrote. These statements are not what you want, given no allegations were known. Feels like the league should have waited until after an investigation, and he's right. Because by putting out this statement, the WNBA has already created a narrative. They've already judged their own fans guilty before having a single shred of evidence. They've tainted the Indiana Fever fan base based on unverified Twitter accusations. What's particularly infuriating about this whole situation is the selective outrage. Where was the WNBA statement when Indiana Fever players were being attacked with actual racial slurs online? Where was their concern when viral tweets with thousands of likes were calling Aaliyah, Boston, Dana Bonner, and other Fever players horrible racial slurs? Oh right, dead silence. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. If you're on social media calling Caitlin Clark's black teammates racial slurs, the WNBA apparently has nothing to say. But if unverified allegations suggest someone in a crowd of thousands might have made a noise that some people interpreted as racial, that warrants an immediate press release and investigation. Dave Portnoy, who was sitting courtside at this game, has addressed this directly. He said, "I was at Caitlin Clark's opener. Today, I see online just salty trolls saying Indiana Fever fans are making racist sounds at Angel Reese, which is total garbage, totally made up." He went on to describe the crowd as little girls, families, ladies, nice crowd. Now, I'm not saying Portnoy is the ultimate authority here, but his account matches what other attendees have reported. Regular sports heckling? Yes. Booing an opponent? Absolutely. That's basketball. That's sports. But organized racial taunting? No evidence whatsoever. And this gets to the heart of what makes this situation so problematic. The WNBA is enjoying unprecedented attention and growth, thanks largely to excitement around players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, and others. New fans are pouring into arenas, watching games on TV, and engaging with the sport. This should be celebrated as a massive win. Instead, the league seems determined to alienate these new fans. They're essentially telling people who just started watching, "We think you might be racist and we're investigating you." What an absolutely bizarre marketing strategy for a league that has struggled for decades to build a sustainable fan base. Several people who were at the game have come forward to say they heard nothing but normal sports crowd noise. One person explained that the arena plays a specific sound effect when opposing players are at the free throw line, similar to what happens in NBA arenas across the country. Another critical point here, this whole controversy is happening not because of an actual incident, but because a few clips went viral on social media with people speculating about the audio. We've reached a point where social media outrage can manufacture a controversy out of thin air, and leagues like the WNBA are so afraid of backlash that they'll throw their own fans under the bus without verification. Think about this from a business perspective. The Indiana Fever just had their biggest crowd in years. Young fans filled the arena to watch their new star, and the WNBA's response is to essentially label these fans as potentially racist based on Twitter speculation? It's mind-boggling. I've been covering basketball for years, and I've never seen a league so determined to shoot itself in the foot at the exact moment it's finally gaining mainstream attention. And it's not just this incident. It feels like there's been a pattern of trying to diminish Clark's impact or create controversy where none exists. Remember when a journalist claimed that when Clark hit a deep three-puller, the arena erupted, but it didn't feel like cheering, it felt hateful? Yes, a reporter actually wrote that fans cheering for their team making a three-puller was somehow hateful. We're in bizarre territory where normal basketball fandom is being reinterpreted through the most negative lens possible. The really sad part about all this is that it's distracting from some amazing basketball that's being played. The Washington Mystics had an incredible comeback against the Connecticut Sun thanks to standout performances from rookies. Clark just recorded a historic triple-double in her second professional game. The on-conference product is exciting and compelling, but we're not talking about any of that, because the league decided to validate unverified social media allegations. Let's also consider the timing. The Fever Sky game was an incredible moment for women's basketball, drawing huge ratings and a packed arena. Clark became the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double in just her second game. This should have been a moment to celebrate the growth and excitement around the league. Instead, we're discussing this manufactured controversy that serves no one, not the players, not the fans, and certainly not the league itself. It feels like there's an effort to create division at precisely the moment when basketball should be bringing people together. And let's be honest about something else. The crowds showing up for these games right now are largely families, young girls, and basketball enthusiasts. These are not hostile environments. They're celebratory, enthusiastic crowds excited to see elite basketball being played. To suggest otherwise without clear evidence is not just wrong, It's damaging to the league's growth potential. Former players have weighed in too. Several have pointed out that heckling and booing opponents is a fundamental part of basketball culture. When Nikola Jovic gets booed during warm-ups by Oklahoma City fans, no one calls for an investigation. That's just sports. That's fans being engaged. That's what creates the amazing atmosphere that makes live basketball special. The WNBPA, the Players Association, focusing exclusively on these unverified allegations while saying nothing about the documented racial abuse that Indiana Fever players have faced online. The message this sends is clear. Racial abuse is only worth condemning when it fits a particular narrative. This selective outrage reveals something deeply troubling. It suggests that for some people involved in the WNBA, this isn't actually about protecting players from hate, it's about controlling narratives and targeting specific fan bases. Because if the genuine concern was protecting players from racial hatred, there would have been statements condemning the vile abuse directed at Fever players online, but there wasn't. What makes this even more frustrating is that Caitlin Clark herself has repeatedly praised her black teammates and emphasized the importance of supporting the entire WNBA, not just her. She's been a model professional in navigating the tremendous spotlight and pressure placed on her. Yet the narrative being pushed seems determined to create racial division where none exists. Some of the social media accusations have specifically targeted Dave Portnoy, claiming he personally made racial noises. He's addressed this directly. "I've seen clips of people putting sounds with me when I'm yelling. I was going ball don't lie to Angel when she missed the first free throw." Again, standard basketball heckling that happens in every arena around the country every single night. What's especially dangerous about these allegations is how difficult they are to disprove. Once you accuse an entire fan base of racist behavior, how exactly do they clear their name? Even if the WNBA investigation finds nothing, which seems likely given the lack of evidence, the damage has already been done. Indiana has been labeled. The Fever fan base has been tainted. And for what? Or because some Twitter accounts decided to spread unverified claims? The timing of all this becomes even more suspicious when you remember that the WNBA All-Star Game is scheduled to be in Indianapolis this year. Some commentators have suggested this manufactured controversy could be part of an effort to pressure the league to move the game. I'm not saying that's definitely what's happening, but the coincidence is certainly interesting. Let's also talk about what message this sends to new fans. Basketball is uniquely positioned as a sport that brings together people from all backgrounds, races, and walks of life. It's one of the most diverse and inclusive sports in America. When new fans show up to games excited to support their team and players, only to be essentially told, "We think you might be racists," why would they ever come back? The truth is, there's a certain segment of basketball media that seems uncomfortable with the new attention Clark is bringing to the league. They've consistently tried to create controversy around her, whether it's overanalyzing her facial expressions, claiming her success is only due to privilege, or now suggesting her fans are racist without evidence. But here's the reality check. Clark is bringing unprecedented attention to women's basketball. Her games are breaking viewership records. Arenas are selling out. Merchandise is flying off shelves. This should be celebrated as a massive win for women's sports. Regardless of how you personally feel about Clark as a player. When I see young girls filling arenas to watch her play, I see the future of women's basketball. I see a generation that will grow up knowing female athletes can be superstars too. I see potential future WNBA players being inspired. But apparently, the WNBA sees potential racists who need to be investigated. Let's be crystal clear one more time. If anyone actually made racist comments or sounds, they should be banned for life, no questions asked. But starting with the assumption that this happened based solely on social media speculation and putting out an official statement before verifying anything, that's organizational malpractice. The people hurt most by this are the players themselves. They deserve to be the focus of attention for their incredible athletic achievements, not dragged into manufactured controversies. Clark deserves to celebrate her historic triple-double without this distraction. Reese deserves to be evaluated as a basketball player, not as a perpetual figure in some contrived rivalry narrative. And the fans, especially the young ones filling these arenas, deserve better than to be collectively accused of racism based on Twitter rumors. They deserve a league that appreciates their support and enthusiasm, not one that views them with suspicion and contempt. What should the WNBA have done instead? Simple. If they received credible reports of racist behavior, they should have investigated quietly and thoroughly. If they found evidence, they should have banned those responsible and then made a statement. Starting with a public statement based on unverified social media claims was putting the cart miles before the horse. This controversy also highlights another troubling aspect of modern sports culture: the tendency to immediately frame everything through the most divisive possible lens. Basketball should be bringing us together, should be about celebrating athletic excellence, competitive spirit, and the joy of the game. Instead, we're trapped in this cycle of manufactured outrage that serves no one except those who profit from division and anger. And let's talk about the timing again. Right as women's basketball is having a genuine breakthrough moment in popular culture, suddenly we're not discussing the incredible games, the rising stars, or the growing popularity. Instead, we're battling over unverified allegations and counter-allegations that distract completely from the sport itself. This isn't just bad for the WNBA as a business, though it certainly is that. It's bad for women's sports as a whole, it's bad for the players who deserve better, and most of all, it's bad for the fans who just want to enjoy great basketball without being collectively accused of racism. Some have suggested that certain figures within the WNBA ecosystem are uncomfortable with the new fans Clark is bringing to the league. They prefer the smaller, more controlled fan base they had before, but that's a recipe for continued irrelevance and financial struggles. Any business that actively drives away new customers is not going to survive long-term. The reaction from basketball fans has been swift and overwhelming. Across social media, people are expressing their frustration with how the WNBA handled this situation. Many are pointing out the double standard between how online abuse toward Indiana players is ignored, while unverified in-arena allegations get immediate attention. Others are noting that this is part of a pattern of the WNBA seemingly uncomfortable with its own success. Every time viewership rises, every time new fans engage with the league, there seems to be an effort to create controversy rather than celebrate growth. A particularly telling comment I saw online: they'd rather go back to flying commercial than embrace new fans. That speaks volumes about the mindset that appears to be driving some of these decisions. In their statement, the WNBA said they condemn racism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. That's the right stance. But their actions tell a different story. One where hate towards certain players is apparently acceptable, while unverified allegations against others warrant immediate investigation and public statements. The most frustrating part is that this controversy is completely unnecessary. It could have been avoided entirely with some basic verification and responsible leadership. Instead, we got knee-jerk reactions to social media outrage. As we wrap up this section, I want to emphasize again, racism has no place in basketball or society. Every player deserves respect and dignity, regardless of race, background, or any other factor. But fighting racism requires actual evidence, not Twitter speculation. It requires consistent principles, not selective outrage. And most importantly, it requires leaders who are willing to verify facts before issuing statements that malign thousands of fans. The WNBA had a golden opportunity here. Ride the wave of unprecedented attention, welcome new fans with open arms, and grow the league to heights it's never seen before. Instead, they chose to validate unverified social media rumors and alienate the very people who are finally paying attention to their product. For a league that has struggled for decades to build a sustainable business model, this is an inexplicable self-inflicted wound. And the people hurt most are the players themselves, who deserve better leadership from their league. This story is still developing, and I'll be keeping a close eye on what happens next. If you want to stay updated on this situation and all the other drama unfolding in basketball right now, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what you think about how the WNBA handled this situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.